FightSaga.com presents WAWR Week Radio Chats with boxing writer Joseph Heron.
Guys, welcome. Happy Thursday to everyone, and thanks to everyone joining us from Coach Malachi's show. I was just chatting on there with everyone and visiting. He always has a really entertaining show, guys, so thank you guys for joining us from that. Always have fun visiting with the coach. But guys, I have even more fun visiting with my very good friend. It's been a while. My dear friend, Corey Bradshaw, Mr. IOTBA. Welcome to the program once again, sir. Are you there, sir?
Hey, man, shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody on here from that 214 talk. Can you hear me, Joe?
I can hear you now loudly and clearly, brother.
Yeah, shout out to everybody on here from that 214 to across the pond. Shout out to the big dog, Joseph Heron, man. What's popping?
Well, I'll tell you what, in the boxing world, quite a bit, including Mr. Bob Arum's blood pressure level. Holy cow. I tell you what, before we get started, I want to give a shout out to my brother, IMO. I got you and Coach both on at the same time. Let's get it. I tell you what, Coach is a funny dude, man. He sounds, you're a basketball fan, right, Cray? He sounds a lot like Coach Malachi, right? He sounds a lot like a rowdy hybrid of Mr. T and he sounds like a rowdy hybrid between Mr. T and Avery Johnson from Spurs fame back in the late 90s. You remember that guy? Point guard, doesn't he? Love Coach Malachi. He's a good dude. Very entertaining show. You're laughing because it's true, isn't it? It's like Mini-Me from Mr. T. Yeah, he's a good guy. Shout out to my brother Wayne Hennessy. Thank you so much for joining us. And don't forget about brother IOTBA. Yes, the Dream Team is back. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes, IMO. Bob went gangster, brother. I tell you what, we've got a lot to discuss. Obviously, there was a huge press conference yesterday, right? In Las Vegas, Nevada, yesterday afternoon. WBC and lineal heavyweight world champion Tyson Fury and former heavyweight world champion Deontay Wilder previewed their highly anticipated heavyweight title trilogy showdown at a final press conference yesterday. And this is obviously to promote this Saturday's big pay-per-view on ESPN Plus and Fox Sports pay-per-view from the T-Mobile Arena. They met face-to-face for the first time since originally announcing the trilogy showdown in June. Fury and Wilder, and shockingly this time, they exchanged words. And it became a little heated. They rehashed a lot. And most of it revolved around the absurd and delusional accusations made by Deontay Wilder. And when asked by hostess Katie Abdo, right, why, what he thought about Wilder's outlandish and absurd accusations, this is what Tyson Fury had to say about this. He said, quote, "Wilder is a weak person mentally, and I'm going to knock him out on Saturday night. I obliterated him in the rematch, and I see much more of the same in the third fight. I'm the last man standing between me, Deontay, and Anthony Joshua. I'm the last one undefeated. I'm the two-time heavyweight champion. I've never lost a fight. That's history." Right? And when asked by Katie Abdo why Tyson thinks, well, Wilder has been making this stuff, these accusations up, he said this. Look, he says he wants to do bad things to me, and he's got all this anger and aggression. Those who hold two hot coals with aggression are the ones who get burned. He knows he's lost twice and that he's going to lose a third time. He's in denial and he's getting knocked out. His legacy's in bits. I knocked him out and now I'm going to retire him. Okay. End quote. That's what Tyson Fury had to say about all of this, right? and Correa, what did I tell you, brother? Oh, well, where did Correa go? Looks like Correa fell off. I want to give a shout out to Frank. He says Sugar Hill seems absolute in the belief that Fury will KO Wilder. What do I make of this? Well, look, and I've been speaking to Javen, and once again, and I guess it's close enough to the fight that I can actually say this, right? Let's try this now. Correa, are you with me, brother? Correa, are you with me? Okay, well, rejoin when you want. I guess I can say this now. Like, there have been a lot of rumors floating around Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and YouTube that, well, Tyson Fury hasn't been training very well, right? He hasn't been training properly. He's had a terrible training camp. He's being busted up by Big Baby Anderson, right? Jamal Big Baby Anderson. And here's the reality, guys. I was told not to write anything or talk about this 7 weeks ago when Javen actually arrived in the UK to start camp, right? I asked him, well, can I actually put out a report? Well, and IMO, I'm going to answer all of these rumors, right? All of these rumors. I'm going to answer everything today, right? So Sugar Hill arrived 7 weeks ago in the UK after little Athena, well, had gone home safely from the hospital. God bless her and God bless the family. And he told me, Joseph, we want to keep everything quiet. I know there are a lot of rumors talking about how terrible Tyson's camp has been, right? Talk about there have been a lot of rumors circulating, and we don't want to dispel any of those rumors yet. We want everyone, including Deontay Wilder's team, to believe that. In fact, that's the way we prefer it. So please don't write anything. Please don't talk about it on your show, right? And so I promised him I wouldn't. But now that we're a couple days from the fight, a day before the weigh-in, I can tell you that they were training, sparring for an entire month in the UK before they flew back down to Vegas. And when they got into Vegas, yeah, they started up camp once again, right? So they've been working consistently, nonstop for 7 weeks straight, right? That's the reality. And let's pull this up real quick, right? Let's pull this up real quick. IMO, thank you for joining us once again. He says, well, Tyson Fury's 20 pounds heavier, I heard. Well, everyone seems to be thinking that because Javen said that to the media. Reality, though, is, guys, reality is he's going to be weighing in tomorrow between 160 and 165. That's the truth. That's the reality. You got it here first from, yeah, my brother Javen Sugar Hill Stewart, right? That's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Before we move forward, let's give complete shout outs to everyone. No Paul Boxayanos, my brother. What's up, my friend? And Correa, are you there now? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me, Joe?
I can hear you now, sir. Thank you for joining the show, brother. Come on now. Let's do this.
Man,
no problem, brother. No problem. But let's conduct the show like we used to, my friend. No, Paul says, hey, what up, everyone chat? Brother Joseph Heron. And great, Mr. IOTBA. Absolutely. Wayne Hennessy states, thank you for joining us once again, sir. He's a shout out to Kate Abdo from the neck of the woods. Yep. We'll get to her in a second. We've got a ton. Mini meal. Hi, Joseph. Get well soon, brother. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate, guys. I appreciate all the direct messages and the emails. Thank you so much for all the good thoughts and positive thoughts. Because yeah, I'm gonna have to deal with this now for an entire month before I go under the knife. But hey, I'm a fighter. I can do it, right?
That's right.
Yep, and that's it. Holy cow, it's my brother, Randy Hill. Thank you for joining me live, Mr. Randy. Miss you, brother. Randy's an old high school buddy. Basically grew up with that dude. How are you, man? Surgery? You know what? You're going to have to call me later on tonight, okay? So we can catch up. A lot I need to fill you in. Snoopsy, thank you for joining us, my friend. Joe Heron, the real boxing journalist who reports and doesn't make offhanded suggestions. Thank you very much for appreciating the craft, brother. I appreciate it, Snoopsy. No, that's absolutely right. And IMO says that's what I thought. No more than 270. He's going to come in my opinion, he should be coming in around 165, but I've been told between 160 and 165. And no, Paul has the beat. He says those rumors
260,
were
265.
Oh, I'm sorry. What did I say? Did I say 160? My apologies.
You said
I'm
160,
not even that light.
165.
No, 260, 265. Thank you for correcting me, my friend. Frank brings up a very interesting question. Could Fury be overtrained? You know what, brother? Don't be surprised if both fighters get gassed in the mid to late rounds. Both fighters have been training extensively for the past 20 months on and off. You could see both fighters on Saturday night with a low gas tank because there is that possibility that both fighters could indeed be overtrained. Keep that in mind while you're watching Saturday night's action, right? But yeah, the reality is, guys, the reality is that Tyson Fury, according to Javen, has been working on improving his mechanics and technique for the past 20 months. Keep in mind, guys, before the rematch, he only had 7 weeks, 6 to 7 weeks to work with his, new fighter, Tyson Fury, right? In his preparation for the rematch against Deontay Wilder. Only 6 to 7 weeks, and look what a difference he made in that camp. Pretty much changing the entire mindset and culture within the Tyson Fury camp, right? Adopting a completely different strategy. Well, according to my brother Javen, he insists that Tyson is a much improved fighter since then. That he's sharp, throwing crisp, compact shots with greater balance, greater accuracy, and more importantly, greater power. And, Javen has often said to the media, yeah, he's developed one-punch knockout power since the last time you saw him. And I said, come on, Javen, you must be joking, right? And he goes, no. He's punching through with all of his weight. When he decides to punch through the target, he uses greater balance and greater force. He's now not slapping with his punches anymore, and he's punching through the target with great force. If one of those land on the chin of Deontay Wilder, he's going night-night. He insists to me that that's the reality. Now, whether or not he gets that opportunity, we'll find out on Saturday. Randy, miss you too. Thank you, brother. Well, I tell you what, brother. Obviously, I can't give you my phone number over the air, man. Come on now. Anyway, brother, reach out to me on Facebook then if you don't have my number right now. But thank you for joining us, Randy. I'm sure you're on the road somewhere. Hey, just out of curiosity, drop the location where you are right now driving. And guess what? We're joined by Young Bill. Young billionaire, how art thou,
Young
my friend?
Billy.
Tell you what, but Tyson Fury, boy, he went off yesterday. Went off. But let's read some quotes from Deontay Wilder first, right? And Correa, your thoughts, brother, because when you asked me, hey, how do you think Deontay Wilder's going to act during the press conference? What did I say, man? What did I say?
You said he was going to do exactly what he did. He was going to be cool, calm, and collective. You know, and he was going to be very selective with the words that he said, and he did exactly that. You know, he almost made it to the finish line.
Yep, he almost made it to the finish line, but just like Tyson Fury always does, he got under his skin. You know, he's made an art out of doing that, right?
You heard me, Joe?
Yeah, I can hear you now, sir. What's wrong with your connection, Holmes? Come on now. So here's some quotes from Deontay Wilder from the final press conference yesterday, right? He said, quote, I don't have anything to prove. I'm in a great place and I'm in a great state of mind. I have a lot of great people around me. This fight is about redemption, retaliation, and retribution. We've been going from day one since the last fight. There's been no stop. The delays have been beneficial for us. One thing about this camp is that I've had all my brothers around me who have been with me from the start. Many people thought I was down and out, but it wouldn't be fair to the people around me to feel that way. My dedication has been focused every single day. And when asked by W.A.W if he had possibly been overtraining, he had this to say, quote, overtraining is a real thing, and we've been able to take small breaks at certain times before getting back at it. Everything has been good and timed out perfectly. Saturday night is going to be a very different night from the second fight. It's rare that we get trilogies like this, and I truly believe this one is going down in history. End quote. Corey, what are your thoughts on that, brother? Brother, do you want to be on this show, Corey? What's up with you, man? Okay, well, I guess we're moving on while he's okay, I guess he's logged off. He's having some communication problems. Well, come back if you can, Corey. No, Paul says Deontay did well, but he sort of admitted a couple of things. What, that he's delusional? Well, he's never going to admit that, but yeah, that was pretty clear to see by everybody. Once again, guys, this is a real problem for Deontay Wilder. And once again, a lot of people wonder if he genuinely believes that. All of these terrible accusations that he's been making since getting bludgeoned in the rematch, right? And these are just absurd accusations, right? The glove tampering, egg weight in the glove, spiking his water from former trainer Mark Breland, costume weighing too heavily, right? The ref, Kenny Bayless, being drunk on fight night, right? Anthony Durrell influencing Mark Breland into throwing the towel. I mean, it's absurd, and it just continues to go on and on and on, right? No, Paul says he admitted a couple things that contradicted his original excuses and accusations. Well, look, of course, and Tyson Fury, the biggest contradiction that Tyson Fury pointed out was he said this, quote, look, why are you going to go through all that trouble of firing your coach, changing your entire team, if the only reason why you lost was because I tampered with the gloves and hit you with an egg weight? If that's the only reason why you lost, why are you changing anything? End quote. And he didn't have an answer for that. He said, well, you changed your trainer. And he never really answered that. Right? Yeah. And then, okay, after they were exchanging, right? After they were exchanging and just started shouting and you couldn't understand what was being said from whom, well, then W.A.W intervened and said, well, guys, we're running out of time. Let's get a face-off. And then all of a sudden, W.A.W jumped out of his seat and started screaming at the stage, right? Hell no, we've got no security. We can't jeopardize the health of the fight. We need both fighters to make it to the finish line. Absolutely. And this is what W.A.W had to say about that fiasco, right? He said, quote, you know that if they had done a face-off here, they'd have shoved each other. There was no security up there. There was this broad egging them on. Who was going to stop anything? They're emotional. They're fighters. They're human beings. And they've insulted each other in front of the world. They were saying the worst things about each other, which is acceptable. Words don't do any damage. But now you put them together like they're angry dogs. Fox ran this event, and of course, you should have security. Of course, PBC did its job. They were arguing with Fox. No face-off, get security. They understand. They're boxing people. These friggin' people from Fox, they don't know crap. They bring this woman in from the UK, and she's slanting all the press conference to Wilder. I don't give a damn, but it's obvious that's what she was doing. She knew that the understanding was no face-off. Tom Brown argued with Fox for no face-off. We said no face-off. And what does she say? We're going to do a face-off. F her and F them. No face-off and we saved the fight. End quote. Yeah. Boy, I tell you what, Bob's impression just wrecks my voice every single time, right? Oh, boy. So this is what W.A.W had to say immediately following, after hearing Bob Arum's tirade. She said this, quote, with regards to the face-off, I was doing what we, the broadcaster, believe was agreed upon. I have nothing but respect for Bob Arum and the empire he's created. I understand what he means to boxing and what this sport owes him. I think the language in this interview was entirely inappropriate. Of course, it's disappointing to be disrespected by someone I respect, but that's life. Not everyone will give you the courtesy you deserve. Hopefully, whoever runs Friday's weigh-ins will provide the necessary security. End quote. That's what W.A.W had to say, right? And Bob Arum was unfortunately lambasted on social media. But guys, when you're dealing with the Bobinator, all right, get ready for it if he doesn't like what you're saying or doing. Just ask Mike Coppinger, journalist, well, quasi-journalist for ESPN. Look, guys, here's the truth. Bob is merely being a feminist here. If women like W.A.W truly want to be treated equally in this brutal, ass-beating boxing business, then no one should view it any differently than Bob merely being Bob at almost 90 years of age. Okay? Because he's going to give it to you whether you're a woman or a man. He doesn't discriminate. Bob's going to give it to you if he doesn't like what you're doing. He's brutal, and he's been this brutal ever since I've been in the business, right? So let's go back. And talk about, right? Let's see this. My brother Randy, he says, I think this fight will be the best matchup for a decade, but Fury will go on to reign for many years. Well, we'll find out on Saturday, brother. But yes, in my opinion, Tyson Fury, and we'll talk about, well, what Deontay Wilder is truly up against. And he knows this, right? Tyson Fury is a chameleon in the ring. Pick your poison. How do you want to get your ass whooped? Do you want to get outpointed? Do you want to get roughed up underneath on the inside? How do you want to get beaten? That's the problem. That's what Deontay has had to prepare for. A guy who can box effectively from mid to long range and can also switch stances. He fights proficiently from the southpaw stance as well. And you better not wait from mid to long range for him, just as Anthony Joshua just found out against Alexander Usyk. Because if you wait on this guy, just as Wilder did in the second fight, he's going to freeze you. You're not going to know when to let your hands go. There's no way you're going to catch him coming in because of the disjunct upper body and head movement he uses. The feints that he uses, you don't know when this guy's going to collapse the pocket. That's the reality, guys. But, guys, don't sleep on Wilder. In my opinion, this is the best shape he's been in, both mentally and physically, since winning the world title against Berman Stiverne. Or I should say, since actually defeating Luis Ortiz for the first time. Right? And no, he doesn't have the greatest chin in the world. He's been knocked down before. But he's gotten up, and he actually recovered during the Luis Ortiz fight. He's got a lot of heart. Right? With his brand of athleticism and speed and power, you can't count him out in any matchup, right? But I kind of feel bad for Wilder, to be honest with you, right? I kind of feel bad for him because this is a guy who actually picked on Tyson Fury. He chose Tyson Fury as an opponent. He chose the toughest style matchup for him several years ago before they fought for the first time. That is the toughest style matchup for anyone in this heavyweight division, in this version, because he can seemingly do it all. Throughout history, you'd be hard-pressed to find a big 6'9", 6'10" man who moves as well as Tyson Fury does, right? Well, let's go to the boards once again, guys, before we move forward. IMO says, I think he watched that bullshit on YouTube so much, he came to believe it. You hit the nail right on the head, IMO. He is delusional. He is a delusional, fictitious king of Wakanda. And he's got the IQ of a salad bar. Without the yes men around him, like Malik Scott, consistently blowing smoke up his ass, telling him, boy, he's the greatest heavyweight this world has ever seen. He's better than Ali, better than Joe Louis. He's starting to believe it. But you know what? It's exactly what he needs to come into the fight this Saturday brimming with confidence. Right? As delusional or as far from reality as it may seem, it's exactly what he needs to be the best version of Deontay Wilder on Saturday night. Foncrates, thank you for joining us, my friend. I am doing the best I can. Thank you so much for asking, my friend. Wayne Hennessy, brother Wayne Hennessy says, isn't Wilder promoting that he-she wife cologne? Yes, they are. The bisexual scent, whatever the hell that is. Maybe they both can twerk after getting knocked out on Saturday night. What do you guys think? IMO says, JD's watch the Raps and no way Breland would spike water or throw in a towel without trying to help him. Of course not. Once again, guys, on this show, if you guys have been listening to this show for any kind of last several months, we've debunked every single delusional excuse that Deontay Wilder's come up with, right? We've debunked them all, okay? And I don't feel like taking another 15, 20 minutes to debunk all of them again. Foncrates says, do you think that Wilder doesn't actually believe the wild accusations and just is going along to appease his fan base, not to let them down. Brother, you've been listening to this show because that's exactly what I think. In my opinion, think about this. He's galvanized his delusional, racist fan base with these crazy accusations, and they genuinely believe it. They're like Linus in the pumpkin patch, waiting for the great pumpkin to arrive. While all of the sane members of the boxing community are trick-or-treating, they're all waiting for that invaluable evidence. Oh, don't worry, after the fight's finished, you're going to see Deontay Wilder come up with conclusive evidence proving that Fury cheated. So what would actually happen, Funkertees? What would happen if Deontay Wilder came out and said, you know what, guys? We made a mistake. Come on. He beat my ass. He beat me fair and square. You know what that would be like, brother? That would be like if you're a parent telling your children on Christmas Eve that there is no Santa Claus, that you've been the one putting the presents under the tree the entire time. That's what that would be like. So you know what, brother? I think you hit the nail right on the head, Funkertees. I do. You know what, guys? I'm feeling a little saucy today. Let's do this, right? Because I'm feeling a bit lonely up here. Thank you guys for joining me on the boards. But let's do this. Whoever wants to join me on the chat, let's throw down the link. Guys, whoever'd like to join me today, please don't be shy. Let's see. But yes, absolutely. Oh, IMO? Thank you, man. Thank you for approving of my Bob Arum impression, brother. Thank you so much. But yeah, look, guys, Bob is just being Bob. If you piss him off, like, guys, I've been waiting while I've been waiting for Bob to get through with an interview, and I'm there in line to get ready to interview in one-on-one, right? And this is when I was still a field reporter, right? Going and covering these events live. I'd be waiting there, and all of a sudden, someone would say something he didn't approve of or he didn't like, and it would kind of piss him off. And I've seen him, while the reporter is still trying to talk to him, he turns around and walks away out of the interview. I've seen him do that several times. IMO says, Malik said Fury was a smart fighter with a lot of skill. Yep. There's no denying that. Look, and if you're a trainer, guys, if you're a trainer, you have to be able to assess the reality of the situation in order to train and prepare your fighter properly. You can't sugarcoat anything. You have to be able to assess your opponent's strengths and weaknesses. Because if you're consistently if you're delusional as your fighter, then guess what? You're not going to be able to prepare him for what's coming in the ring, right? That's the reality, guys. Shout out to my brother Muhammad. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. He says, I have a feeling that Wilder will escape Fury's pressure and end up catching him big with the right hand. We'll find out on Saturday night. Once again, there are no wrong or right answers until we see the fight play out on Saturday. And you know, once again, like him or not, guys, Deontay Wilder still always presents that threat. He's still the most dangerous puncher in the heavyweight division. Like him or not, and with his athleticism, speed, power, guys, you can't count him out in any matchup. IMO says, yeah, but if he tries making a boxing match, he'll be in trouble. Exactly. Because what happened when he tried to box him in the rematch? Look, the worst thing that could have happened to Deontay Wilder going into that rematch versus Tyson Fury was being able to outbox and stop Luis Ortiz by countering him effectively, by being patient and just waiting from mid to long range till he saw that opening. That's the worst thing that could have happened to him, because styles make fights. Or maybe Deontay Wilder didn't get that memo. Because if he tries to do the same thing and tries to catch Tyson Fury coming in, closing the distance with a short, compact right hand, well, he's going to be unsuccessful. Because with all the upper body and head movement, with all the feinting motion that Tyson Fury customarily does throughout the entire round, for all 3 minutes of every round, he's never going to be able to anticipate when Tyson's going to collapse the pocket and drive in. That's what feinting does, guys. That's the purpose of a feint. You can't counter. And once again, just ask Anthony Joshua. He experienced that for 12 rounds against Alexander Usyk. And I warned everyone that that was going to be the case. I said, AJ fans, it's going to be a really frustrating fight for you guys. You're going to be scratching your head and asking the question, why isn't AJ letting his hands go? He's right in front of him. Well, guess what? If Wilder fans see Deontay Wilder trying to box and exercise his newfound skills, his newfound boxing ability, guess what? He's going to run into the same problems. His only chance for victory, guys, is if he, one, fights behind an intelligent jab, mixing in touch jabs, feints, hard sticking jabs to the body, chest, and head. He's got to mix them up in sporadic intervals, mix it in with a lot of feints. Two, he's got to take the lead. He cannot be waiting on Tyson Fury. He's got to get off first. You cannot look to counter a guy like Tyson Fury. You have to get off first. You have to take the lead. And number three, he's got to be the predator in the ring this time. He's got to be the one to collapse the pocket. He's got to be the effective aggressor in this fight from start to finish. And if I were training Deontay Wilder, I would say, brother, go for broke in round one. Do not allow his eyes to get adjusted to the speed and the movement. Go right after him as if your life depended on it. Catch him cold. In my opinion, if this fight goes past rounds 1, 2, and 3, Deontay Wilder's in trouble. His best chance for victory is to catch Tyson Fury cold before his eyes get adjusted to the speed and the movement of Deontay Wilder. Have you ever, guys, wondered why a lot of fighters in a really important fight, a really big matchup against a big puncher, have you ever wondered why often in the first round they'll have what's called a feeling out round? It's because they don't want to engage or let their hands go until their eyes have gotten used to their opponent's speed and movement. They don't want to get caught. And as the rounds start picking up, then so does the action. That's the way it goes, and that's for a reason. That's by design. You do not want to commit usually against a big puncher like Wilder until your eyes get adjusted to the movement, to the speed, to the timing. In my opinion, that's Deontay Wilder's best chance for victory. And guys, the Fight Saga Sexy Bet, if you're interested in gambling, do you know what the odds are for a Deontay Wilder first round knockout? It's 50-1. That means if you put down $100 on a Deontay Wilder first round knockout, you win $5,000. Let's say a group rounds bet 1 through 3. If you want to take a chance for the first 3 rounds, it's 25-1 odds. In my opinion, If you've got money to burn, those would be the sexy bets to pick, right? In my opinion, the safe bets are going to be Tyson Fury points victory straddled with a group round bet 1 through 3 for a Deontay Wilder knockout. And you can read all about it in Fight Saga on Friday. I'm going to put out my odds article. Coach Malachi, thank you so much for joining us, brother. By the way, guys, if you haven't already subscribed to New Media Today USA Boxing, please go do that right now. Coach Malachi is one of the more entertaining boxing scribes and personalities on YouTube right now. Always a fun show, and it was nice to chat. And thank you for acknowledging my show while I was watching yours. Frank says, Joe, if Sugar was playing everybody with the weight, is he serious with the KO comments? Yes, he is, because he told me this off the air. This isn't just something that he told to the media. Like most of the time, Sugar, excuse me, guys. Most of the time, guys, Sugar he'll tell me when he's screwing with the media. And I'll ask him about it, and he goes, yeah, you know better, Joseph. Come on. But he insists that Tyson Fury has increased power by improving technique, improving balance, stating that he's always in a position now to land a power shot. He's improved his footwork, improved his technique, and has increased, and because of that, it's increased the torque of his shots. When he decides to sit down on his punches and punch through the target, yes, he says he's developed knockout power. I can tell you that with great certainty, guys, and you're going to see that. Lady Shan, my sister, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for being here, sister. Okay. Brother Muhammad says, Joseph, should Wilder stop Fury, would it be safe to say that he'll be back on top? Since many think he'll KO Usyk if they face each other? Brother, if he beats Fury, no one's going to be able to stop Deontay Wilder except maybe Anthony Joshua. I know this sounds strange, but styles make fights. In my opinion, Usyk is all wrong for Anthony Joshua. But if Usyk faced Wilder, I think the speed, athleticism, and the unorthodox shots coming from odd angles would be too much for Alexander Usyk. I think he stops him. But if Deontay Wilder fought Anthony Joshua, who's got the shorter, more compact, straighter shots, he's explosive. I think Anthony Joshua beats Deontay Wilder. How do you like that for a heavyweight round robin? And in my opinion, though, guys, once again, this is all just hypothetical because in my opinion, Tyson Fury beats everybody. Do you think Fury KO is a safe bet? This is what I'm on. Honestly, brother, in my opinion, and this is my official prediction, and I usually don't give predictions until I release my head-to-head article on Fight Saga the morning of the fight, but I'll tell you this, since you guys are tuning into my program. In my opinion, this fight goes the distance. I know this is the heavyweight division, but both men look to be in terrific physical and mental shape going into this fight. I think because of what's on the line, what's at stake here, I think you're going to see the best version of both men. And as a result, this fight is going to go the distance. In my opinion, you may see one fighter or even both fighters get floored. But in my opinion, this fight goes the distance because of what's at stake and the physical and mental condition both fighters will enter the ring. So in my opinion, the safe bet is a distance victory, a points victory for Tyson Fury. That's what I would bet. Straddled with a 1 through 3 rounds bet in favor of Deontay Wilder. James, thank you so much for joining us, brother. Appreciate it, brother. IMO, I think Usyk is a problem for smaller heavyweights. Brother, he's a problem for every heavyweight, as we've just seen. But in my opinion, Deontay Wilder is all wrong for him. I think he and Fury have the best chance of defeating Alexander Usyk. But is Fury better than Ali? Brother, in my opinion, and Tyson Fury would even admit to this, you can't compare anyone competing in the heavyweight division today with a warrior like Muhammad Ali, who could do it all, right? I know he was only 6'3", 6'4", but Muhammad Ali, guys, he was a warrior. He had heart for days. He had a great chin. Even if you hurt him or you got knocked down, he found a way to survive. He found a way to win. He skated across the ring. He had better footwork than anyone in this version of the heavyweight division. Plus more heart, plus more weapons in his arsenal, a better jab. Guys, you can't compare an all-time great like Cassius Clay to anyone in this version of the heavyweight division. Thank you for your comment, Randy. James says, Fury should have thrust his pelvis at Telly Swift on stage to get Wilder angry. Ooh, boy, I tell you what, that would have indeed made him angry. That's pretty funny. I actually got a mental image of that, guys. That's hilarious. Okay, guys. Sugar Hill's a difference maker. Yes, he is. Just look at the results already. Once again, this is a guy who was able to change the culture of his entire camp, right? He's made Tyson Fury a different fighter. But once again, guys, and once again, Malik Scott, no, all credit to him. He's a very smart boxing guy. I've known him for years, right? But he's never been the chief second in a major event like this. Guys, Sugar Hill was mentored into this role. He's been part of the big events along with Emmanuel Stewart, right? Don't forget that. This guy was mentored into this position. He knows exactly what to do. He knows exactly what not to do. In my opinion, that's the biggest difference. Malik Scott, even though he learned from very great, all-time great Hall of Fame trainers, guys like Jesse Reed, he's never been in this position. Never. Oh, Brother Muhammad brings up Mike Coppinger, the PBC shill. I love it. Mike Coppinger should have not allowed himself to be talked to like that. I'm not a fan, but Arum went too far, specifically when he kicked him out. What say you? Thank you for bringing that up, because I am indeed a journalist. So if I were there, right? And once again, guys, this all started because Bob Arum was going off just torching Triller, saying they've ruined my fighter's entire year. You know, if you're not a real promoter, you have no business engaging in any of these purse bids. As a result, he wasted my entire fighter's year. That's criminal. And Mike Coppinger came up beside Bob Arum and said, well, if you had just given Teofimo Lopez what he was looking for, this wouldn't have gone to purse bid. And Bob Arum just turned to him and said, F you, you little prick. Get the F out of here. And he had him escorted away from him, right? So was Arum wrong? No, he wasn't. Mike Coppinger deserved it. And why? Well, one of two things. And this is just me giving Mike Coppinger the benefit of the doubt. Because think about this, guys. What was Teofimo Lopez actually requesting? before this went to purse bid that Bob Arum just said no dice. We're going to have to take a hard pass on that. He was requesting $5 million to fight George Kambosos Jr. Let me ask you guys, does $5 million, does that seem like a reasonable amount? Now, keep in mind, guys, this isn't just the entire purse. This was just for him, not including what George Kambosos was going to get paid. Do you guys think $5 million is reasonable for that? Hell no. And as Triller just found out, no, they realize it's not worth that much. It was impossible. It was going to be a financial disaster had they gone through with staging that event after putting forth and winning the purse bid with that enormous $6.1 million purse, right? Way over inflating that purse, paying them way over the market value of that matchup, right? So taking into consideration that Mike Coppinger knows this, and like I said, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that he knows this. What would be the reason to come up and tell Bob how to spend his money? Well, if you had just given Teofimo Lopez what he was looking at, this would have never gone to purse bid. So one of two things, guys. Either Mike Coppinger doesn't know shit about the boxing business, or he's just trying to goad Bob Arum. Giving him the benefit of the doubt because he's been in this business for a while, you have to assume that he was just trying to goad Bob Arum. In that case, Bob Arum was completely justified in doing what he did. Right? Think about that, guys. Everyone knew Coppinger was merely trying to goad Bob with his statement because it was a completely ignorant one. Teofimo's $5 million request was way too much for the Kambosos matchup. If Cop genuinely believes his statement, then you ultimately have to question his understanding of the business. So which one is it? Either way, it's not good. Shame on Mike Coppinger, and brother, you got what you deserved. Right? You got what you deserved. So Frank says, from my last statement, with that in mind, why go with the Fury decision? Because he is ultimately the better boxer, even when he was not in as good a shape as he is now. He outboxed Wilder thoroughly in their first fight, and he should have earned a unanimous or majority decision in that fight, right? There's no way in Hades, if this goes the distance, unless Wilder scores 4 or 5 knockdowns. There's no way in Hades that Wilder is going to win a decision here. No way. Maestro Boxing says, salute, Warwick Radio. Salute to you, Maestro. Thank you for joining us, brother. Yes, guys, I'm going to put down the link. Once again, I'm getting a little lonely here. Anyone who has a pair of headphones on and wants to join me, please do. I'm dropping the link once again. Maestro says, Fury by stoppage. He's not beating Fury, and I think Joe Joyce and Usyk beat Wilder as well. White is even money. Once again, guys, we'll find out, but there's no way in Hades slow as molasses Joe Joyce beats a motivated Deontay Wilder. No way. Usyk beats Wilder as well with Deontay Wilder's size, power, athleticism, and speed, and unorthodox shots that he throws from different angles. Strange, unorthodox angles. I don't think he beats him either. I'm on a bus with students on the way back from a school trip. Dude, good for you, brother. That's outstanding. Muhammad, very good question, brother. Joseph, will you do an immediate reaction show? You know what, brother? I've been talking about this with James Gogi. And yes, we'll be doing an immediate reaction show during and post-fight this Saturday night, guys. So please tune into that. No, Paul says, Aram just gave my phone a new ringtone. Shut the F up, you little prick. Guys, I'm sorry. Mike Coppinger deserved all of that. Mike Coppinger deserved all of that, guys. Once again, I have no sympathy for that guy. He's a PBC shill. Ask him, would he ever talk to Leonard Ellerby that way? Would he ever talk to Al Heyman that way? Ask yourself that, guys. No. And the answer is a resounding no. That's why I'm saying Mike Coppinger, he should know better. Right? He's a journalist for ESPN. He should be objective at this point, and he still isn't. He favors certain promoters over others. Do your effing job, Mike, or you're going to be out of one very soon. You know what? Like him or not, the fat man, Dan Raphael, never played promotional favorites. Right? Like Steve Kim or not, he never played promotional favorites. Right? He did his job. Now, often on his podcast, he would express his personal feelings about a certain promoter or fighter. But when reporting, he always merely reported. And that's your job, Mike. Do your job like a professional, brother. Frank, you're going against Sugar, though. Ha ha. In all seriousness, thanks for the inside info. Going against my confirmation bias, though. Brother, just telling you how I see it. That's my objective observation. Once again, I know a lot of people in this business, and I love a lot of people in this business, but that never influences my decision either way when assessing a specific matchup, right? And it never will. And it really sucks. I have to tell you guys, it really, really sucks. Because let me tell you, Frank, I miss having a dog in the hunt. Do you realize it's been over 20 years since I've been able to root for a specific fighter in a fight? Do you guys realize that? I mean, it really sucks. I remembered in the 90s, before I got into this business, I used to love when fight day came around and my head would pop off the pillow and I'd be like, holy shit, Mike Tyson is going to fight Evander Holyfield tonight. Holy shnikes. It was like Christmas morning. I miss feeling that way. I miss it. I miss that so much. Unfortunately, I can't be that way any longer. Because if you have a dog in the hunt, it always affects your ability to cover the fight objectively. It always affects how you view the action that takes place at ringside. And that's the difference. Boy, I tell you what, I miss being a diehard fan. Guys, I mean, let me ask you guys this, okay? And this is in all seriousness, and I want you guys to comment, right? Are you excited to see this fight? When Saturday rolls around, when you wake up and you hit your alarm or your head comes off the pillow, are you going to say, holy shit, it's fight night? Wilder is taking on Fury for the third and last time. I can't wait. Do you guys feel that way for this matchup? Now, seriously, do you guys feel that way? We'll get back to that in a second. But guys, please leave your comments. Do you feel that way for this fight? And when is the last time you've actually felt that way? about a specific matchup. When is the last time, guys? Maestro Boxing, thank you for still hanging with me, says Fat Man Scoop, a.k.a. Dan Raphael, uses ESPN platform to hate on Rigo relentlessly. Now, keep in mind, and I know whenever he did his Fight Freaks Unite chat, boy, he hated on a lot of fighters and promoters religiously. But when he was reporting, very seldom did he ever stray from just reporting. Now, I do remember reading something from Dan Raphael several years ago about criticizing the action or lack of, saying that it was an unwatchable fight. There's nothing wrong with that. But to go and bash a specific promoter or in an interview on YouTube or in one of his articles, I don't remember ever reading something like that from a professional like Dan Raphael or Steve Kim or Doug Fisher or Kevin Ayol or anyone who takes their position seriously as a journalist. Because we're trained not to. Right? Thank you, brother. Thank you for hanging with us, Maestro. Mohammed says, Tiafimo asked for the big purse before he arrived. He should have waited 1 or 2 more fights before playing the diva, not with only 16 fights under his belt. And it's not even that. But thank you for your comment, Mohammed, but it's not even that. Look, he was asking for $5 million to face George Kambosos, and guess what? We don't even know if he can sell tickets. We have no idea if he can even sell tickets. He's never been the A-side headliner for any event. Keep in mind, the only time he headlined a major event was against Vasyl Lomachenko. He was the B-side, and 2, they didn't have to sell any tickets. It was in the bubble. So this guy, before even showing that he could sell tickets, was asking for $5 million guaranteed before ever stepping foot in the ring? Keep in mind, guys, how many fighters today make at least $5 million guaranteed? How many? I can count them on 2 hands. That is a lot of money, even in this era of inflated purses. Even in this era of inflated purses, excuse me, guys, very few fighters make at least $5 million guaranteed. Keep in mind, Terrence Crawford makes a guaranteed $4 million per fight, and Top Rank isn't happy with that because they can't get him big matchups to justify that guarantee. That's more than likely why this will be his last fight with Top Rank. How many fighters make that much guaranteed? Devin Haney makes $3 million, and that's probably $2 million too much. Gervonta Davis? Nope, he doesn't even make $5 million guaranteed, and he's on pay-per-view. Guys, that's a lot of money, especially for someone who's never proven that he can sell tickets, draw ratings on his own, be in the A-side of a headliner, A-side headliner of an event. That's where he went wrong, right? That's exactly where he went wrong. So thank you for your comment, brother. Appreciate Muhammad. Thank you, my brother, for always tuning in. Frank says, after thinking on your prediction, I can't see how it goes the distance. Wilder has his pride on the line and will be gunning for a KO. Surely he won't sit back. Kronk Fury will also be going for the KO. That's right. And you very well may see one. But in my opinion, when both fighters are at their peak mentally and physically, it's very difficult to get a knockout on the elite level, right? Take Lennox Lewis versus Evander Holyfield on the elite level. They had 2 fights, no knockout. Right? Very seldom, guys, on the elite level do you see a knockout. The only division where that rule isn't always in play is the heavyweight division. So I understand your point, Frank. This is just a hunch. This is just, in my opinion, both fighters in peak condition will see the final bell. In the first fight, right? Just take a look at the first fight. That saw the final bell, and Fury wasn't even in the kind of shape he's going to be in on Saturday night. In my opinion, both guys see the final bell. And once again, that's just my opinion, guys. But yes, both men are stressing knockout, and I'm sure they're going to try. But keep in mind, guys, when both fighters taste their opponent's power, in my opinion, I just have this feeling that both men are going to be tentative. And there is a very real possibility that both men overtrained. You could see both men gassed, holding on to each other by the 5th or 6th round. Maestro says, definitely not Fisher, Kim, or the others you mentioned. They're pros. Yes, they are. And they're a credit to the sport. Always support your favorite boxing writers, guys. Chicano Prophet, thank you for joining us, brother. What's happening, man? Thank you for being with us. Frank says, well, Wilder's not an elite boxer, though. He's got an elite right hand, elite athlete. Yes, I do take into account what you're saying. And that's the point. He doesn't have elite level skills. No, he doesn't. He's still, admittedly, learning on the job, obviously. But with his physical condition, right? If he's in great shape, that speeds up the recovery process. Even if you get buzzed, even if you get floored, even if you get hurt, your recovery time is cut in half if you're in peak physical condition, right? That's why at the elite level, it's very hard to put someone away. And that's why if I had to advise anyone to bet, I would put money on a Fury decision, Fury points victory, right? That's the reason why. With both men in peak condition, it's going to be very difficult for the other to put him away. Frank says, I also have a bias due to my money being on the line. Just out of curiosity, how did you bet, Frank? How did you bet? And once again, and I'm asking all of you guys, go back to my last question. When is the last time that you've been truly excited to see a matchup where when you woke up on Saturday morning, your head just popped off the pillow and that was all you could think about? Holy shit, it's Saturday. It's fight night. I can't believe we're going to see these two guys fight in the ring. When's the last time you guys felt that way? I can't even remember, guys, to be honest with you, when the last time I felt that way. Even when covering a live fight. No, that's not true. That's not true. The last time I truly felt that way, even when covering a fight, was Golovkin versus Canelo 1. That was the last time that I truly got excited about seeing a live fight. And before that, I couldn't help it. Mayweather versus Pacquiao in 2015. I was truly, genuinely excited like a fan. Gosh, I miss those days. I miss those days desperately when I could just sit back and watch a fight and feel genuinely excited for it. I love that stuff. That's what made you a fan in the first place. The anticipation, watching the weigh-in. Well, you couldn't wait to see it. Here we go. Frank's bets. This is exciting. Can't wait to see this. Fury 1 through 6. Fury 6 through 12. My bets are covered with Wilder 1 through 6 KO, as I believe Wilder has lost it if it reaches round 7. I would agree with that. I think your best bets are Fury 6 through 12 and Wilder 1 through 6. But to me, in my opinion, so you've already placed money on this. Wow. I'm sorry, man. I don't mean to give you lack of confidence, because it very well may be there. You very well may be right. But in my opinion, I think this one goes the distance. This is going to be very difficult for either man to put their opponent away, considering everything that's on the line and considering that both men seem to be peaking at the right time, in peak physical and mental condition. That's just my take. But we'll see. We shall see, guys. But I tell you what, guys, that's going to just about do it. I want to thank you all for joining me this afternoon. And guys, don't forget, Mr. Lee Cleveland and I will be doing a preview show immediately following the weigh-in tomorrow. And Gogi and I, Coach Gogi and I, will be broadcasting live during the fight and immediately after. So please stay tuned for that, guys. And in case you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the WAWR Radio Network channel and like, please. And if you're feeling very generous, please donate to the cause with Cash App, $WAWR. We appreciate your patronage, guys. God bless all of you. And I tell you what, we will speak to you and reconvene tomorrow. Oh, last but not least, let's see. One final comment from Frank. Your argument is well made. I just think Fury's on a different level. You know what, brother? If he disposes of Deontay Wilder and gets the knockout, then you would be right. He would be definitely on another level. God bless you, brother. Frank, that's what we're here for, my friend. Thank you so much for spending your afternoon after work with us. Guys, but my name is Joseph Herron, and you've been listening to WAWR Radio Chats. Have a great evening, everybody.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. You wanna go where people know people are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.